Okay, here we are back logged in. I'm back logged in as a teacher, and I'm going to start changing my course to make it more the kind of course I would teach. So the very first thing I want to do, I want to change the name, and I also want to change the format, because I don't usually teach a course in weeks, in a given number of weeks. I teach it over a longer period of time, and it's based on topics. Now you may very well leave it as weeks and shorten the number of the weeks, or add more weeks to it. You can have up to 52 weeks in a course. And what I'm going to do right now is just change this a little bit. What I do, I stay away from navigation. Remember, navigation is to move around and look at things, but it's not to actually make changes. You make changes with the administration panel. The administration panel is context specific. So right now I'm in my blank weeks course, so I could change things within with the administration panel within this course. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to edit my settings, and I'll show you where to change a few things. Well, first of all, my course is actually Social Studies 11, and for a short name that would even fit. You can see it's about the same size as that box, but I'm just going to still give it a shorter name, SS 11. Okay, and it's in the course category sandbox. I'm not going to change any of that. Course ID is optional, so I'll just leave that. And you give yourself a course description, and I would fill something here, la-di-da-di-da-di, and I'm not going to put anything right now. You don't want to watch this. I want to make this a little shorter. If you have summary files, you have these little icons with a question mark, and it gives you a help to everything that a key to what these things are. So course summary files such as images are displayed in the list of courses together with the summary. But I'm not going to do that right now. It's something you can play with later. Now the course format, that's what I want to change. I want this to be a topics format. Okay, the other two, a social format, that is more, it's just based on a forum discussion. And the single activity format, right now you could have one course that's based on a database, or one course that's based on, it's like the social format, but it's on one particular activity. So I'm going to do the topics format, and I'm going to change this to 3 topics, because that's all I need. And hidden sections, if I hide something while I'm working on it and developing it, how do I want this presented to my students? Well, I want it in collapsed form so that they know it's coming, or I want it hidden completely, and I do want it hidden completely or invisible. Course layout, all sections on one page. Well, with 3 sections, that's probably not a problem. But if I have lots of sections, I would typically choose 1 section per page, and they would be able to move through the sections so that you don't have this big, long, scrolling Moodle page. There was a lot of complaints about that in the past. So that's when you'd use 1 section per page when you have a lot of topics or a lot of weeks. But since I only have 3 topics right now, I'll show all sections on 1 page. Okay, and appearance, this is where you can force the language. How many news items to show? We went over news in the last video. Show the gradebook to students. Yes, typically I would do that. Show activity reports. Yeah, I typically do that. And activity reports are just for each participant. They could show what their contributions are and how many forum posts and things. I think that's handy to know. Okay. Files and uploads. You can set the maximum size for uploads for this course. And for this course, this is going to be a very simple course. I probably don't need anything more than 10 megabytes, so I'd set that to 10 megabytes. If you have guest access enrollment, you can use that, but I typically don't. If you have groups, and we'll go over groups later in the course, you can do that. And role naming. Well, typically, I change the names of certain roles, especially the ones I do for adults. So for in English schools, they often call the teacher the tutor. Or in the one I'm doing right now with you, I renamed this to facilitator. Non-editing teacher, I'm just going to leave that blank. I could call this an on-call teacher. Remember, non-editing teacher can mark students and see their grades and interact with the students, but they cannot change the course content. And student, I may put pupil, but in this case, if this were for adults, I would say participant, and that's what I've done in our course. And then I'm just going to leave the rest. A lot of things in Moodle, you don't have to fill them all out, but you can leave them. So now I've got 3 topics, and I can start editing these topics and adding blocks and things. So that's where I've got social studies, the long name, the short name, everything that I showed you in the last video. And oh, do you know what I also do? I also rename the news form to announcements. So let me do that quickly. I'm going to turn editing on. I can turn it on here, or I can turn it on in my administration panel under turn editing on here. But let's just turn it on here. And I want to rename this. I'm going to hit this little pencil, and I'm going to call this announcements. And I press the enter key, and it will take that. So that's all I need to do for now. We're finished with this video.